What's up, squad?
Hey, what it do?
Hi there.
Everybody.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Got
Yeah.
back.
We
Welcome back.
missed you.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Don't sing it. Don't sing it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm just glad to see
As much as I
you
wanna
and me back in stride again.
I am back. I'm back from Tokyo. Had an amazing time. Eventually, I'll be able to share with everyone what I was doing in Tokyo. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, But I got a chance to check you guys out. It was like 3 a.m.
What?
Wow.
I got a chance to kind of catch the show, and
Oh, now that's commitment. Oh.
so
So
guys,
nice.
you held it down. You held it down while I was. So. But anyway, guys, what's up, guys?
Bless
This is
you.
the-
That's
What's
me.
up?
And welcome to
Where's that
Ships,
from?
the relationship show where we chronicle the difficult and hidden world of true to life relationships. So we have a really doozy today. We're going to talk about what's fair and what's not fair. I'm so interested to hear what you guys have got to say about this particular topic. Y'all ready?
About am I the problem?
No matter problem is the topic.
Well, we got a letter or something we find. We should call it a hot topic, I guess, because this was something
Yeah.
that
Okay.
streaming on the internet. So I want to get y'all opinion on this.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, so my wife, she's 29, and I am 36, the guy, are expecting our first baby. 3 years ago, my wife decided she desperately wanted a cat. I hate cats and all animals in the house, really, so I was against it. She wouldn't stop talking about it, so finally we made a deal. She could get a cat, but it was her responsibility. I would have nothing to do with it, and she agreed. She stuck to her word, and I stuck to mine. I mostly ignore the cat. Now she's pregnant and asked me if I can scoop the litter until she give birth because of toxoplasmosis. But I looked it up, and as long as she wears gloves and washes her hands, she should be good. You laughing at that? You really
Man.
absolutely not.
Man.
She wasn't happy, but I reminded her of our agreement when we got the cat. I told her it was her responsibility, and if she didn't want to take care of it anymore with the new baby coming, we can get rid of it and find it a new home. She said no and has been scooping the litter. Her sister was over and saw her doing this and flipped out at me, telling me how dangerous it is. But of course, her sister is going to be on her side and overreact. I never wanted the cat, so I don't see how I'm wrong. Woo, child. It was kind of comments on both ends. It was kind of split between the genders. So I'm just interested what you guys think. All right, Pastor, you were laughing, Dr. Hosea Collins. What was funny?
I agree.
All day.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
But I want to clarify. There are some things he's wrong. When I say I agree, let me specify what I agree with and what I don't agree with. I agree with his principle. I don't agree with his method.
Okay.
Because if I was very clear, I don't want no cat in this house. I'm not doing, like I'm telling you, I don't do cats. I don't do animals in my house. That's not something I roll with. I'm not faulting someone else that does,
Colette.
but I'm not
Colette.
doing it. Now here's the point. So this was a problem they had that they went back and forth with. Eventually, in their communication, they came up with what they considered to be a compromise. Their compromise was, he says, I'll let you bring a cat into the home that I live in, even though I don't want this at all, and you know how I feel about it. But my compromise is it will be 100% your responsibility. I'm not petting it. I'm not feeding it. I'm not giving it water. I'm not picking up behind it. I take no part in this that I already don't want to be a part of. Excuse me, y'all, being a little bit unprofessional. but I just realized my battery light came on, and I want to keep talking, so I got to plug this up.
Right.
Nevertheless, let me get to the point, and I'll finish plugging it up when one of y'all talking. She gets pregnant. Now, here's where the
Wait, they
disagree with the
Yeah,
method.
come on
They.
now. They
Because
get
that's
pregnant.
part of the problem. They get
They are
pregnant.
pregnant.
Okay.
Okay, they're having a baby,
Yes.
which has nothing to do with my agreement, because I was very secure in that. Now, what should have happened at the moment she got pregnant, there needed to be a discussion right then. This is the only part I disagree with. There needs to be a discussion right then. Hey, listen, things just changed. We have this cat in the house, which I never wanted, but now our priorities, of course, go to our baby. And plus, I know it's not for safety purposes, with you being pregnant, it's not a good idea for this poop, this cat poop, and all of this to be around you. I think this is a fine time where we need to make a hard decision for you, not for me, to give this cat a good home that he can be free to be himself in. Because right now, our priorities just shifted. Because I know that I'm not going to be taking care of this cat, as I told you I never would, but I am crazy about taking care of our child. So it makes sense to get rid of the cat. That's what I'm saying he did wrong, the method. As far as him allowing his wife to still do this, no, don't allow her to do that and put herself in jeopardy and your unborn child. But remove the reason altogether. The cat got to go. She'll be mad, but she'll get over it when she had his baby. Cat got to go.
All right, Janine.
Um, Getting pregnant was a possibility when they had the initial discussion about a cat and possibly being around a cat while pregnant not being safe. Um, I understand that from the beginning he was like, no cat.
Mm-hmm.
When he decided to compromise and say, you can have a cat in our house, ain't got nothing to do with it, I believe in that compromise. It was a unless there's extenuating circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't getting nothing from him to give me.
Right? I feel like, what if she was sick and in the hospital?
He would kill
The
the
cat just died.
Yep. Yep.
But she's in hospital too long. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and taking like the intimate part of marriage out of it, just looking at the relationship, friendship you should have, whether I like the cat or not. If I know that my significant other loves this thing, right? I don't want to cause it any harm. And necessarily getting rid of it, I don't think that's the answer either. Like you said, they should have talked about some things, but the fact that they went back and forth because she really, 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 really wanted one, then getting rid of it because he refuses to do anything, I don't think it's fair.
Got it. Yeah, I'm sorry, you finished, Miss Janine? Two people
Okay.
agree with me right here.
That's my cousin.
Okay. Your cousins understand. Let me tell you how this. I'm gonna give you this quick background. This is something I do in my house when my wife is away. I go through the cupboards and I get rid of all Tupperware that doesn't have a lid. That irritates me. When she gets back, where are all these cup little the cup Tupperware. Oh, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. See, it's real simple. Number one, she's pregnant. Number two, baby on the way. It's a possibility that this baby, it's some type of, or she can get sick. It could be so many different things. That's going to be priority number one. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care what Mrs. Arcee says. But at that point, we getting rid of this thing. Bye-bye. Gotta go. Send it on its way. Give it to a neighbor. How about this? Let me compromise. How about we give it to the neighbor until we get ready for the baby. The baby comes in, and then we can introduce the baby to the cat, like 2 years old or whatever. That's
No.
oh yeah. Oh yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, but the cat has to go.
Yeah, I was thinking more like 12 years old, but
if the cat lives, here's the dead cat. Whatever, I don't know. But the point I'm making is that the cat, without question, got to go. She's going to be mad through the pregnancy. She's going to be mad because that's how it's going to go. You got to get rid of this cat. I don't want it. Unless you want a dead cat, it's got to go.
unless you want an inconvenient accident.
I
just dropped the iron. I didn't know.
Wait. Let's explain this really quick because I know where you are, Jose, with this. Jose and I are hood. We grew up around pretty much pit bulls fighting each other. You know, they'll climb up the tree and latch on to the branches. Yeah, we saw all that. So when it comes down to cats and dogs, we're not as sympathetic as most folk will. And please don't write me or write Sandra or write anybody.
I'm a cat person.
I'm not.
Dog
I'm
all
a cat
day.
person, and I also believe, and y'all can disagree, the pregnant woman is going through the most. She has the biggest sacrifice. You could be a team player, kind of work with her.
True that,
So
but we're talking about
she's
health.
happy because.
Oh no, we're talking about health.
Hey, no, I'll go get her a stuffed animal cat. I don't have a problem. Garfield's in every store.
Okay, guys.
I'll go win her a cat. No problem. A little stuffed cat animal. Yeah, stuffed animal.
He
Help
could have
us, Sandra.
scooped, just did that. She's pregnant. Did the scooping thing, and then had a conversation after the baby came. Then sit down and say, "Hey, look,
Bye-bye.
this is what." No, just while she's pregnant, scooping, because we're assuming that no other conversations took place. We're just assuming that, what we read is just all that's there. So we're assuming that he didn't say, "I don't care if you get pregnant, don't ask me." We're assuming that a whole lot of other stuff was not said. Do the scooping, and then once the baby come and all, then have a serious conversation. Like, look, this was Jack, whatever his thing is. The next time the cat got to go, or we don't need a cat here, or something like that.
See, thank you, Rick, for reminding us of that. Let me go deeper where the problem began.
Go ahead.
They got married.
Problem.
Without addressing this situation.
Problem number one. Got married.
Problem. Yeah.
They got married without a pet conversation or understanding.
Right.
See,
It could be an assumption, though, Pastor. Who would
no. That's the problem with most weddings. That's the problem with most marriages.
That's everything in life,
Oh,
though.
you don't know what assuming does? Do I need to tell you what assuming does on this show? ASS.
But Pat,
You know what I mean?
yeah, you think
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
can't
I'm
address
trying to educate people of what not to do so they don't keep ending up in these silly situations.
But you
Yeah,
can't
we won't be
address
reading these letters.
everything, though.
Listen
That's
to
what I'm
me.
saying.
That is an important thing. Okay, let me give you a personal story. Give you a personal story. I was single a few years ago. I met some fine women. Some of them showed some interest.
Wait, Jose, where were they?
Some fine women.
Got it.
Some of them showed some interest.
Yes, sir.
The moment I found out you live with an animal, you were excluded from my picks because I ain't finna have this fight later. Because step number one to marriage, before you find who you need to be with, is to know yourself. If this brother know he have no tolerance for cats or animals living in the house, before you marry someone who desires to live that way. That's a big deal. See, it ain't about, we make you think about how fine, how attractive, there's some chemistry. Forget all that. Can we live together in peace?
No.
And because of what I know, that's an area that me personally, I don't have no problem with nobody else. That is non-negotiable for me. That was enough for me in my house where I pay mortgage or rent or whatever. So there's nothing else to really talk, because this is what happens. You have a right to want what you want. You don't have a right to make me want what you want. So I have a right to want what I want, but I don't have the right to make somebody else want that. And that's what the true meaning of selfishness is, not living your life as you want to live it. The true meaning of selfishness is you forcing others to live their lives as you wish them to. And the church said,
Amen. We're taking up an offering now. It's true. Should have figured that out before you got there.
I got said, everything can be addressed up front. Some things just happen. And I get what you're saying about the animals, but every single thing is you're not gonna catch everything.
We didn't say we are. We talking about a cat.
I know. I'm saying with the cat though, he should just scoop it up, because we don't know all the details. We don't know everything, Pastor. From this. We don't know
all the details so we can have it.
This is what I'm saying.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree. He should scoop the cat up and take him home by it.
Anyway.
Scoop him right up.
Okay, but listen. When he compromised, initially it seemed like he was adamant. Take that down. He was adamant about, I don't want no cat. I do not want a cat in this house, blah, 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 blah. But he compromised. In his compromise, he opened himself up to some what-if scenarios like pregnancy.
No, I agree. I agree that he did open himself up when he compromised. He should have, and being a good husband, as it sounds like he is, he wanted to please his wife. But the circumstances have now changed. We have now.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I was saying.
Agree. And listen, all of us are making some good points, but absolutely 100%, this changes when a child comes in the room. It's as simple as that.
That's what I said. Do it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Do it and then afterwards and say, look, babe, this is whatever the conversation is. That's all I'm saying. But
look, people, send me the cat. I'm a cat lover.
Yeah. Send me the cat. Janine.
I will foster
address is 124.
I will foster the cat. I need some kind of honorary godmother title because I'm taking the phone number of your family. But I'll put the phone number on the screen. Foster the fur baby, and then when it's time for him or her to go home.
Here's where I disagree with what you had to say about his compromise. His compromise was very clear in his boundaries. He didn't have, no. His compromise, he said, for you, I'm going to let this cat in the house. But he specifically said, don't ask, don't think, don't expect for me to do a darn thing in regards to this cat. He was very clear. He did not deceive. Now, that means anything this cat needs, if I got to do it, it won't get done.
Whatever.
We have agreed to disagree.
Have a conversation.
Miss Lady, was it the guy that sent the letter or was it the lady?
This was the guy.
Okay, guy, dude, wherever. Send me the cat.
Yeah, he's talking about was he wrong? Yeah,
I think you were wrong.
You were only wrong in your method, not in your principle. Your method, though, you didn't do it the right way. I can't agree with the way you did it.
Wrong.
Well, you should have took her to her doctor's appointment, ran home while she in the waiting room, get rid of the cat, go back to the doctor's appointment, and fight when you get home.
Yes, sir. Or
that cat ran away.
Or
I left the back
The
door.
cat got a chip. The cat
Go
might
to
run
your
away. The
mother
cat got a chip.
today.
What?
I'm gonna clean up a little bit.
I'm gonna
Pack
clean
the
up.
cat, take it down to Janine's house, probably a couple of miles from you. I don't know, and drop it off. We're good.
Hey, I got one last point. One last point. I
Wait.
think we're overlooking something, and I think you all are being very. You're not being sympathetic. And here is let me tell you when
I
you're
wanna
not
hear
being sympathetic. No one's considering the cat. Doesn't the cat deserve to be in a loving home
Yes.
where two people love him?
Yeah,
The
Janine.
cat in the midst of this frustration and this tension in the
Of course, I was
environment,
considering the fur baby.
y'all cursing the cat. I
It's-
think the
Y'all
cat
did. You
deserves
trying to
better.
iron the cat. You need to stop.
No,
You
dogs
trying
are the
to
ones
iron
that
the
need all
cat.
that.
You're
I just
done.
hope we don't get canceled because the pedo, whatever that.
People, Dr. Hosea was trying to iron the cat. Let
Yeah.
me just make that clear.
What are you trying to do?
Let rewind this
I
bad boy. When
dropped
we're
the
done, he was trying
iron.
to iron the cat. Then he came with his
Nobody
big
ever
teeth.
dropped an iron.
I thought I heard kick. That's what I heard. I heard something.
Kit Kat.
Sandra,
Yeah, I eat
welcome
them.
back. Help us.
No, I agree. The
Yeah,
cat,
look.
look, the cat's. He should have scooped it and then had the conversation afterwards. So, but maybe we the problem, Janine. I'm trying to segue into our next section.
Thank
like
you, Miss
last-
Colette.
I just wish y'all cared about the cat. Nobody care about the cat being in a hostile environment. Nobody cares about that.
She shouldn't have. Well, look,
A hostile
You agree?
environment is you dropping the iron on the cat. Yes,
Wait a
let's
minute,
talk
wait a
about
minute.
that.
That's right. He should go to the neighbor.
Assumption. That's an assumption.
Okay.
He said he just dropped the iron.
What is our show about today?
I guess like I've been saying for the last 5 minutes, I guess I'm the problem. So the cat the problem, I guess, in that.
The show today is about why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog. He should have bought a dog.
He should have bought a dog.
Okay, we're done.
Wow, wow, wow.
We're done.
Yippee
Yo,
yay.
yeah.
Welcome back,
Yeah.
Sandra. I know you missed us.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I start off saying, well, hey, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. So I have no problem segueing into that. But anyway, that's our discussion for today about relationships. And a lot of times we break apart what the partner or someone that we're interested in is not doing, is doing, and why the relationship didn't work. But do we actually stop and look in the mirror and say, is it me? Is it me? So I can, since I'm the only single one here, I've done that. And sometimes I'm like, it is you, Zandra. It's you.
Yeah. And Zandra, we second that emotion.
Yeah, I admit it. I admit it.
Zandra, I don't agree totally with that.
Yeah.
Not always you.
No, sometimes it is based on how I
It's
choose.
your alter ego.
No, it's me. I'm eyes wide open walking in.
Yes.
Like, no, this is, but it's, a lot of it is conditioning and just how believing certain things should be a certain way. But Janine asked a really good question. I know last week to Ash, which was your topic last week, was that is marriage really for me? Being real and honest with it. Why are we sabotaging every relationship we get with? Or why is no one ever good enough? Why do we pick apart everything that comes into our income, in our lives? So when we stop and ask ourselves that, it really does paint a sometimes not a very pretty picture.
Well, why do we
now listen? Before we jump into all of this, I found 8 signs that you're the problem in your relationship. So I didn't get it to you, Pastor Rick.
I have some too.
I want to hear. Let's start with number 1.
I'm just gonna run through these and then we can open it up for discussion. 8 signs you're the problem in your relationship. You're hot-headed.
Describe hot-headed. Give us an example.
Temper. You're tick, tick, boom. Hot-headed.
Everybody has a temper. Go ahead.
We all have a temper, but
Are we-
saying that you're hot-headed.
Right
Who's
now.
finding out why she the problem? She think
Oh,
everybody
no.
like that.
We already said she was. We already said she was.
She's
So
on the, okay, so she's on the couch.
right.
She's on the, okay.
Ooh, this is interesting. You think your partner is inferior to you.
Wow.
Most men are like that. Excuse me.
Wait a minute. Stop
Most
that.
men-
You heard
No.
that? You heard that? Most, she's the problem.
Most
Right.
men, most men are like
Who
that.
is it?
That's it.
You know,
She-
Go ahead.
You know what? You know what I found out? Your life won't let you lie. Whatever you believe it is, you'll continue.
That's just right. That's right.
Most men
Okay.
think women are inferior.
you avoid conflict.
Yeah.
Well, no, I gravitate towards it.
See? That's definitely not you.
We're going to change the title of this show to "Is Zandra the Problem?" Yes. Yes. Okay. So you avoid conflict. You're obsessed with social media.
Mm.
Social media
It's the
Yeah.
death. Yeah.
can be the beginning of the end
That's true. That is
for a
sad.
relationship.
Right.
You're spending more time on that than you are with your person. You go out to dinner, and instead of talking to the person across the table, you're hitting it like that. I've seen it. Seen it? Yeah.
And what are the fights over? You liking every other woman's post except mine.
Right?
Come
You're
on.
on
come
social
on.
media too
That's
much.
good. That's good.
Oh, this is a good one. You don't take responsibility for your actions.
Right.
Oh,
That's
I,
it.
I take responsibility.
Right? And that's also like you're never wrong.
You're
Right.
never wrong.
No matter what is going on between the two of you.
That's Hosea comment.
Always
Oh my
never
God.
wrong.
That's why I never argue. I just tell you why I'm right.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
let's see.
That's a t-shirt.
Another sign you're the problem in the relationship. You have friends whispering in your ear.
Mm.
Too many
Yeah,
cooks
it's
in the
true.
kitchen. Too many
Mhm.
people in your business.
Heard it through the grapevine.
Oh, and here's another one. You prioritize your own needs and wants first.
Selfish self.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Pretty good list. Rick, what you got to add to it before we jump in?
Good.
yeah.
If you want a cat and your husband does not want a cat,
Oh, no.
you're the problem.
You're the problem.
I do. I have a couple of them.
Oh,
You're
look, I'm
always
sorry.
threatening to break up. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
one more. I
One more,
clicked
yes, ma'am.
through to the article. There was one more. You want him or her to make you a better person.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
That's a
Oh,
big
that's a major
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for God. You ain't looking for
Right.
Right.
Right,
You
right.
need salvation, brother.
You
His
worship
name
that
Jesus.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Pastor Rick. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
couple of them. You're always threatening to break up.
Yes.
Always.
I heard, yeah.
Always. Always threatening. You're always threatening the person because you're toxic. And you cuckoo for cocoa puffs. Yeah. A local.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. What?
And Cuban say it like this. "Tuta local." You always find things to criticize your partner about. Always. Never good enough.
That's
Why
yeah.
you got that on?
Yeah.
Why are you wearing your hair like that?
That's good.
That's good.
My
Yeah.
last boyfriend,
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give you a couple more.
More belt.
You assume the worst about your partner. Never giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Never. You're constantly, literally looking for the problem.
Yeah.
That means that you're miserable.
Yeah.
You are, ma'am, sir, you're miserable.
Yeah.
I've seen couples like that, and I'm sure, Jose, you've counseled them just like I have.
All day.
Man,
Yeah.
they don't do this, yada, yada, yada. It's always they, it's always them. And the worst part, this is how you know the problem. This is another one, and I don't have it written down. You always play the victim.
Yeah. Always.
Right.
Nobody likes you.
That's you're never wrong.
Right.
Never wrong. Hosea, never. No, sir. No, sir. Here's another one. You keep score of mistakes
That's
and
a good.
grievances.
That's a real good one. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good.
You can mark them down. You have literally a memory of an elephant. I remember when
Mhm.
you
Well,
are
I
the
mean, that it
problem.
was 1987. Remember, like yesterday, you would sit right over there with that red shirt on, with
Yup.
the old black boots that you like to wear.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
1987.
picture it, Sicily.
Yeah.
1999.
1987. You were with that hussy. That's what they said back then.
Hussy.
I ain't heard that in a minute.
Hussy is old time for heifer.
Heifer, that's what
That's
it
even
is.
older for well, never
That's what it
A
is.
lot of
today.
things. Okay.
If you-
Yeah, I got one more.
mind.
You're a great manipulator.
Ooh.
Constantly manipulating the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly. You have a disease, ma'am. Sir, you have a disease. You need to fix. You have
Yeah.
the spirit of manipulation. It is. We call it the spirit of Jezebel. Men and women can have it.
Yeah.
You just manipulate. That's what you do. Stop.
Now, the
Stop.
problem with all of this is that the people who are doing it don't recognize all the time that they're doing it.
Right.
True.
And
That's
you have
true.
it where some guys are, this is the thing that I noticed too a lot. People know when you're getting with the girl, and when the girl a lot of times is dating the guys, you see all that stuff up front. You just continue to go on with the relationship for other reasons.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
that's what we're doing now, huh? It's helping them identify
Right.
how you know when you're the problem. One thing I would say, when you're hearing the same exact complaints from
Yeah.
different people,
Yeah.
Right.
you might want to take note of that.
Right.
I agree. If,
Good
but,
point.
yeah.
Good point. And I think it's also, I was going to
Go
say,
ahead.
it's also important to always take the position of there is stuff that I know and stuff that I don't know. And it is always quite possible in that bucket of don't know is some things that I could be doing
Yep.
to sabotage relationships. So then that requires that you step back. That's reflection. That may be counseling. That may be talking to someone that you are close to, not the
Absolutely.
gossip and all that kind of stuff. You know who you can go to talk with, but have them unpack the last couple of relationships with you
Sure.
and say, look, it's not my desire to be stuck in a loop.
Right.
I feel like I am. It's same script, different cast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, Mike, we same scenario.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the common denominator.
Right.
So what do I need to do to first see, am I the problem?
Yeah.
And if I am, what kind of tools and resources can I implement
Sure.
so I can stop being the problem? Because it's my desire to be in a relationship. I
Absolutely.
need to know, am I a man repellent?
Yeah.
Wow. Repellent. Hey, I have an interesting question because I agree with you 100% on that, Janine. It is about self-examination and self-reflection because the only person you can change is you. So I know I'm putting all of us on the spot right now. If we could go through and each one of us think of a moment or relationship or whatever to where, or a time in a relationship where we were the problem in a certain instance. Not saying you were the only problem, but where you can identify, I was messing this up by doing this.
Right.
That's easy for me.
Okay, well, you start.
I said that as a whisper. Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Listen,
Your
we
mic
need
is on, Precious.
We
Your
need
mic
one
is
example.
on.
Whisper. No, I know I have a mouth and I can emasculate. I didn't know what it was though. In my defense, I honestly didn't know what it was. I'm very direct, so I didn't know. And Pastor, y'all know this. I didn't know certain things to do, or I should say this, or because I'm very direct. I'm not knowing a lot of the stuff that most women just do by default. And a lot of people, some don't believe me, and others is like, she got to be bull crapping. I literally was just focused. If it's something I'm focused on, I'm just going after it. So I learned when I started going through counseling before, obviously, you, Pastor Hosea, really looking back as to why I was making the decisions I was making. Why did I choose, like my career is just over anybody, anything. And if I didn't like what you told me, I wasn't going to do it. I didn't understand about a man's ego and how, regardless,
Give us an example.
example would be money. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm very good with handling money. And most men want to walk around with $300 or $400 in their pocket. And I don't say most, I'll say the men that I've dealt with.
Thank you.
And so my thing is, dude, we got bills to pay. Take this money, put it in the bank. You need $2 in your pocket, that's fine. And we're going to pay the bills with the other. I didn't know I needed to say that softer and in another
How
way.
would you say it? That's the example.
Just like how I told you. Okay, so Pastor, Jose, we got $240 worth of bills. That $300 in your pocket, put it in the bank. I was more giving orders. And then, then we're going to pay bills, and then you keep the 60 and we're going to roll with it, and then we need to do
so you were telling them what to do.
Right. I didn't know I needed to ask or phrase it a different way. I'm just, I would give the
So you were known from, you stupid mother.
I didn't call him stupid. I would just be like, what are you doing? Like, dude.
Like that. That was it right there.
So I didn't
use your hands when you did it?
Yeah, I was talking direct. Like, dude, what are you doing? We got bills to pay. Take that money and da-da-da-da. So I had to learn not to give directives, but to say, honey, and that's hard for me. That it is so hard for me to think about. I know you're laughing at me, Pastor. Think about my words before they come out, and then to say it in a way that your male fragile ego won't be bruised.
So would you have been receptive if it was the other way around? Would you have been receptive to that?
That's how I grew up like that with my dad.
No, I'm saying if your man, not your daddy.
Yeah, yes.
If your man told you, Zandra, no, you take this money and you go put it over there and you do this, you would have just been like, yes, sir.
No, I would have been like, I would have either fought back or said so. It wouldn't have hurt my ego or hurt my pride, because I'm used to hearing that. I worked in news. I worked in every aspect of my life where everything was extremely hard and direct. And, in news, they would throw typewriters across the room, put holes in the walls, shut up, get out. I mean, it was crazy back when I was a news reporter. It's gotten better.
You were
but it was very violent, very, very violent. In the newsroom. So I came out of the environment of direct, Pastor, with my dad that's just what I adopted. That's just what I'm used to. So you coming at me, if I ain't like it, I ain't like, you can change your tone. I would fight back, but it didn't stop me or hurt me or bruise me. Whereas the guys, it would, because I'm very, very strong personality. So so we're.
So you ran a lot of men off in your time.
No, just one.
Just 5.
Just a one. But this is
you can't count the only one you married.
I haven't dated many men, Pastor. I've had a lot of guys like me, and I've had.
I know you ran them off before it became official.
No, that's not true. That's what I swear. And this part is where it's the crap. I won't call it the name. A lot of guys are toxic, and let me tell you why. I've met guys. I promise you. Once I start going through therapy and learning how to change my tone, some guys like that fire. I swear, I promise you on everything breathing, because they'll keep nicking at you until you just, when you cuss them out, and it's almost like they. So it's toxic. I recognize it as toxic though. So, and it could be just what I was a drunk.
So over the last 20 years.
Yes.
The reason you not married today ain't got nothing to do with your being the problem. Is because you hadn't dated enough over the last 20 years.
That would be, I haven't let enough men in. And that's a fair statement.
So your problem is delusion. If you believe that, then
that's the truth. But Pastor, that's the truth. That's not delusion. That is not a delusion. I have not dated it because of I didn't date guys because the guys I liked I tried to stay away from because I knew they were the right
Oh.
ones for me. Now you know this. Now
Okay.
you know that
And they didn't come back for a second date. It was-
Okay.
no, that
Okay.
ain't true. That is not true. No,
All right.
no, that's not true. It's
All
not
right.
that they wouldn't come back.
This is subject for a longer.
Yeah, and
chat.
you know the answer to that. I don't want to put all my
Yes.
business out here. On Sip Squad.
So,
Uh,
back to your question, Dr. Hosea, you asked if we could think of something that we did when we were the problem.
right.
I remember when I found myself trying to be the wife before the girlfriend,
That's a good one.
right?
I hear you.
Wanting to be in a relationship so much that I'm just giving everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let me knit you some seat covers for the car. Oh, let me paint
That's
your
good, Janae.
house. Oh, just doing all of that way too early. That was one thing. And then the other thing was I didn't grow up hard, but I grew up feeling like the ugly one in the group.
Okay.
Dark skin, not dark skin, but because I'm not technically dark skin, but chocolate. Um, the coarse, kinky hair, had a little acne, had the big window pane glasses. So, I grew up under all of that. And no matter what I did, I carried that person with me. And so I felt like nobody wanted me anyway. Let me love me, let me take care of me, and let me put up the wall. I'm not going to let you in. It was this hardness that was survival mode. And it was, I don't need you. I don't need anybody.
Now that I can identify with.
And it was just it I thought it was my true authentic self,
Mhm.
but it was a response to hurt
Mhm.
and pain and feeling invisible.
That's
Right.
good.
Right. And so when I did try to get into a relationship, I still had all of that. And so I was like waiting for the other shoe to drop of maybe how you really feel. That it was just all this stuff. But I wasn't aware that I was sabotaging it. But looking back,
Right. You can
it's
see
like
it.
that's not a healthy person to be in a relationship with.
That's good. So everybody, please comment, like, share our videos. You know, we always have such amazing topics that I keep forgetting to tell you guys to do that. Give us some comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know about your toxic things that may have happened to you or things that you yourself may have been the problem in the relationship that you would like to share with us. But again, definitely like, subscribe, and share.
I
Amen.
love it. What about you, Pastor Rick?
Yeah. It's time to go, right? You know what's funny? Just listening, and I was, just really going through my Rolodex in my head. I think for me, it was always, and not just in, I'll say, a romantic relationship, but just abroad, is trusting. I knew I had a problem with trust,
That's
and that
good.
comes from abandonment and rejection. So maybe somebody can relate to this. I was everybody's best friend, but nobody was my best friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, and you always try to be there for everybody else.
Right.
You pretty much, because of trust.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm good. Although you got $3 in your pocket. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
And I had to come out of that and learn to trust little by little, and just go through the dynamics. I'll say even Jesus had to lay that on his disciples. He took them of 3.5 years of trust. on how to trust, how to go about it, and so forth. So
Right.
that was the key thing that I had to learn about it. Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. Okay,
That's
Dr.
a good
Collins.
point.
So then as we, oh wow, as we have just a few more minutes left, thinking about the signs that you may be the problem, then how do we go about unpacking that
Yeah.
and our desire to no longer be the problem?
That's
Mhm.
You know,
good.
what
Dr.
helped
Collins,
me,
Work.
Suggestion.
was
Dr.
that,
Collins
no,
respond as to why he's the problem, and then we'll go into that.
he said he
I
was,
was asking.
he was never the problem.
I know we're gonna have you answer your own question.
I never said I was the
He
problem.
never said he was going. Because he said he was perfect. What you talking about?
His,
No,
his
no, I'll
list
be honest.
is for another
That's our
show.
answer. That's your answer.
I'll be honest. Two things that Rick brought out. One of them, for one, early on, I didn't trust women at all. So
Why?
because I didn't trust you early on in my dating life, I was unfaithful because I didn't want the hurt of being broken and being the sucker. So I draw first blood. I know that was wrong. But
Sure.
Those were facts. Those were facts.
Right.
And then later, once I developed and I became, into the ministry and things of that nature,
Mhm.
I became so I had a hero complex. So I would be your hero
Yeah.
to get you and solidify the relationship. And now that's established. So that's done. Now I'm on to what's next in regards of who else's hero can I be?
Yeah.
Oh
And
wow.
because of I became someone else's hero, I'm denying you
Yeah.
the basic needs that you still need.
Yeah. In the church, we
I'm
call
like,
it.
we solid.
Mhm.
I thought you became Wonder Woman to my Superman.
Right.
So we now both supposed to be on hero mode.
Right.
And if
Mhm.
you on needy mode, then you're in error.
Yeah.
You wrong. You need to catch up.
Yeah.
You got a world to save. Now, some of that, has, good intentions. Want to make the world a better place, but I had to learn balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And God had to teach me, and I won't get into that story because we don't have time. But there's a very profound way that God taught me
Yeah.
that my first ministry is to my home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That the church is an extension of my
Yeah.
home,
Yes,
Right.
sir.
not a replacement for it.
Right.
And so I just had to find balance and find my worth in my personal family first.
Mhm.
And from that, yeah, we help all we can help, but
Yeah.
never helping you at the expense of abandoning them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of the things that a lot of pastors go through.
It
A
is.
lot. It took me, honestly, if I may be, probably 20 years to figure that out because
Mm.
you're so caught up in ministry
Okay.
that you lose Jesus.
Come
You
on.
do. Okay. Good example. And I know this is not a preachy moment, but whatever. If you recall when Jesus was in the temple, his parents during that time were trying to find him. They
Yeah.
thought he was with John, with John's folk, with Elizabeth and Zachariah. They thought he was with the family.
Yeah.
And they was going about their business the whole time, not realizing they lost Jesus
Wow.
the whole time.
That's good, Rick.
They're going into ministry,
That's so
they're doing
good.
the religious aspects,
Wow.
burning the incense, sacrificing.
Boy,
But they
that's a preach.
lost Jesus. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. They
That's
lost.
a preach.
That's Thursday, by the way, Hosea. So what happens is,
Oh, I gotta tune in.
yeah, and so what happens is, that's the mindset all of us get into at some time because we just put Jesus on the back burner. We say, "Oh, we got this," or you alluded to earlier, the Jesus syndrome. Where we just got to save everybody, but
Right.
your whole household is going straight to hell.
Right.
You
You
know,
see
Rick,
Go ahead.
Rick, I wasn't gonna share this, but I don't know. It's still on my heart, so maybe it's for somebody.
Yeah,
The night God woke me up,
go ahead.
I was ready to give up my whole family. Me and Precious married back in Louisiana because we was fighting over me not never being home.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
you
'cause
telling me.
I get up. I had to be at work at 4:30 in the morning. I lived an hour away. I left the house at 3:30. I would get off work in the evenings, 4, 5, 6. I'm driving trucks, delivering, so it wasn't no specific time. And I would come out, get off, and drive an hour back, and still wouldn't go home. I go to the church. I go visit people. I go to the hospital. I get home 9, 10 o'clock, eat, go to bed, take a shower, go to bed, wake up next morning, do the whole thing. And it's even on weekends too. And we would fight all the time. And I was like, I don't understand. You act like I'm out here chasing women and getting high and running the streets. I'm out here doing God's work.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You need
Right.
to be out here with me. And she's
That's
like, well, who else gonna help the kids with their homework?
Right.
We doing Lord's work. Lord figured it out. I was so much zeal with no wisdom.
Yes, sir.
I was going hard.
Yes, sir.
And I told God one night, it was on the night before Father's Day, we had a huge fight. And I told God, you know, God, they can go. She can go, kids can go, everybody can go. It's me and you. It's me and you.
Oh,
I'm gonna come to this church. Me and you got this. They can go. If they're in the way, they gotta go.
Yes,
I was serious.
Like the cat. Like the cat.
Right, Janine. Right, Janine.
I was dead serious.
No, the
Here's
cat
what
ain't got
happened.
his hands up. The wife and the kids gotta go.
So this was one of them nights we had a big fight where I ain't even sleeping in the bed. I go in the living room, get on the couch. Before I got on the couch, I prayed a prayer. I say, Lord, I don't see no other way other than divorce. So if there's any other way you need to show me, because that's where I'm at. That's all I see.
Oh, wow.
And me and you is enough for me. And I meant it. I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I went to bed that night. I haven't had a lot of that I know were messages from God in the dreams. It's very few times, but this was one. In my dream, I woke up in my grandmother's car, wrapped around a telephone pole downtown, Coachella, Louisiana. Hood up, smoke everywhere, fog, policeman walking toward me, shine the light. I recognized him. I knew him. He, Pastor Collins, is you? I said, yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got here. I don't remember driving. I don't know what happened. He shined a light in my back seat. It was literally the whole bar was in my back seat. Every beer can, bottle, wine, vodka, gin, cognac, everything you can think of, brandy, all of it's back here. And I'm bleeding him because I literally did not drink at all. I had quit drinking for years. And I'm pleading to him, oh, that's not mine. I don't know who set me up, and he's not believing me. I'm putting my hand on the Bible. I'm swearing to God. And he's not believing. He's looking at me in disgust. Like, I thought you was better than that. You ain't worth nothing. You da 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 da. And he's walking off from me, and I'm pleading. And then all of my church walks up to me. And they're looking in my car and looking at me in disgust, just looking down at me like I'm nothing. Now, mind you, these are the same people. I prayed you off of crack cocaine. I ministered to y'all and counseled y'all when your husband got that other side baby on you down the street. I helped y'all fix it. I've been helping you ever since you've been going to jail and getting out. I've been like, y'all guilty. And I've been there for you. I'm innocent and you giving up on me. And I was so broken. I'm pleading to God, why won't you help me? And eventually my whole city came up and looking at me in disgust. And I'm by myself and I'm on my knees crying, God, show them the truth. Why won't you show them the truth? Why won't they believe me? And I felt a hand on my back. And I looked up and it was my wife, Precious. She said, baby, I believe you. I ain't going nowhere. We're going to do this together. And in that moment, I woke up. And I heard God speaking to me. He says, all of them will leave you tomorrow. Who I gave you. And you're abandoning her for them that can be gone tomorrow. He said, you know why preacher kids be the worst kids? Because they used all their time raising everybody else's kids.
That's
That's
it.
why their kids grow up and hate church. They despise church. You know why pastor wives be the meanest women in church? Because they know their husband. He says, you cheating on your wife with my wife.
Yeah.
That's what I gave you. I know how to handle my bride.
Yes,
the
sir.
church is the bride of Christ.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
I was so convicted. I never knew this. I ran in the bedroom. I woke her up and I'm just crying. I woke her up hugging her, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know. And I'm grateful to God for showing me that in the early stages of my ministry. So I could get that thing back in check, because I would have destroyed my family in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Wow. We got like 5 minutes. So
That's good stuff. That's
bring
good
your
stuff.
Yeah.
Very
Powerful.
tough.
Powerful.
That's what passed the collection plate moment.
Yeah.
And your tithes and offerings too.
Yes, it is. So that's a good example, because where you're not knowing you're the problem.
Yeah.
You're not
I didn't know.
too.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's almost like I mean, for the holidays,
That
it's
was
like
the problem.
it's like a Scrooge moment,
Right.
a
Yeah.
Scrooge moment, and yeah, and you see this time and time again within people who are in leadership that it is one extreme or another, where they could be really mean or not too or too nice or whatever, and all these different things come out of them that they don't understand that they're the problem.
Yeah.
They are the problem. And
Yeah.
my advice, and this is FYI, before you decide to get into ministry or leadership or whatever, fix you.
Thank
Fix
you.
you. Because all you're going to do is project all your issues and spill and blood and pretty much bleed on everybody else because of your issues. You are the problem. Fix it, ma'am. Sir, fix it.
Deep sigh.
So just a few little things in closing. Back to something you said, Sandra. You don't always know if you are the problem.
Yeah.
You don't.
Assume that there's a 50-50 chance that you are.
Yeah.
At least 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe 100%, but at least it's 50-50.
I'm going to say it's 85, Sandra.
The 20-80 rule, but take a look at those past relationships. Sometimes it's painful, but you can find the things that you need in those past relationships so you can unpack it. And we gave some signs, if you're hot-tempered, the social media, that kind of stuff. But if you desire to be in a healthy relationship, and you have been in relationships in the past that were toxic, that abruptly ended, all the crash and burn and all that kind of stuff, start with self.
Mm-hmm.
Take inventory of how you approach relationships, who you become when you're in a relationship. If you become a completely different person, why are you unable to be your authentic self?
Yeah, I think a good temperature gauge in if you're the problem. The scripture talks about pretty much having wise counsel around you.
Yeah.
It's important. And Z, we got your back on that level because it's inevitable that sometimes you're going to be the problem. And all of us,
brother.
all of us, Jose and I bounce things off each other. Brother, am I the problem?
Yeah.
And we look at each other. It's like,
Yeah.
it can't be. It can't be. So I'm joking when I say that, but the point I'm making is that it is important to have family, people who know you, close friends. As I said, I try to live my life by a personal mentor and coaches, and in those three, I find out what problems I do have, and I exercise on being a better person in that matter.
The problem with that, Rick, is so many people are hang with people that's not truly telling them.
Yeah, and that's why I was going to go.
Rare. And even with some, and Janine and I have a mutual, we call her mama figure, who I know regardless don't care about my feelings. If she's going to tell me something about something I'm doing, if I don't like it, which is rare to find those kind of people. That's and then that's open to hear about some issues that they may have, because we can dish it, but when I'm trying to tell you about you, then all of a sudden it's an issue. It's a problem. Them are the worst freaking kind of people.
But what you're talking about, Andrea, is the second part of that. It's not enough to seek wise counsel if you're not seeking wise counsel. Like not just people to be yes people in your ear.
Right.
You want people that have success in the areas where you don't.
Yeah.
Like you need people that are credible. Like if you trying to get relationship advice and things of this nature, you don't need nobody who ain't never been able to hold a relationship. You need someone who can sustain one over periods of time.
And that's the universal
proof. They need if they don't have no fruit in their life. What am I doing? That's why you ain't talking to
women do that all the time, though.
I know, but that's why we ain't telling them. You ain't asking a homeless person how to buy a house.
Right. And I was going to say that saying pretty much it is really universal. If you want to be a millionaire, I'm not going to go downtown and say, hey, A, B, and C. to say, to the homeless person who may have had it, but yet alone lost it, whatever that looks like. I'm not going to ask a person who doesn't have the fruits bearing.
It's interesting. That's just what we do. Because when we're talking to people, and I don't know, like I always had men in my life that I would ask questions to, but I find a lot of us women, a lot of times, not just women too, we have to, like you said, be honest. And some stuff we're embarrassed about. We don't necessarily want to tell anybody, but you have to find someone, which is what I learned in small groups. I didn't know anything about small groups until maybe 10 years ago, that they even existed. And what is that? And then telling people my business. So I had to then trust, like, God, send me women who are going to be transparent, people that are going to tell me the truth about myself, which I never understood. Like, why do you want to hear a lie? That to me, I would never understand why people want to be with people that's going to lie to them. How is that
It's
going
not
to
that people want to hear a lie.
Okay.
They don't want to hear the truth. There's a difference.
Right.
What's the difference?
It's as crazy as that sounds.
Lie to me. Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying lie to me.
Right.
I don't want to hear the truth.
I want validation.
You figure it out.
I want validation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. We got to pick this up. We still got a lot to talk about with this topic. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. And I want to throw this out. I know Pastor Rick and Pastor Hosea, you have your congregations, you have your followers of people that reach out to you and seek your wise counsel. Obviously, I am not a woman of the cloth, but I am a woman of faith. I am married. I have been in crazy relationships, all that kind of stuff. My email, my phone, my text open. If anybody, real talk, it's not enough to just get up here on Tuesdays and kiki and go on with our lives. We all sincerely are committed to you, our viewers, our fans, finding love if you want it. If you want to talk, you need to talk, you think that you may be the problem, or you don't know, you want to help with assessing that, please reach out. Please reach out to us.
And as you reach out, just FYI, because where Zandra is going to give you the information here, any type of questions or whatever, it'll be forwarded over to us or whatnot. We'd be more than happy to help you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if someone wants to even come on live, and we can talk with you live. If
yes,
amen. We're not going to, drag you or anything. If you have an issue, and you're wanting some real counsel, or if you just want to do it privately, we would love to have you. Again, that's my email address, ZandraSWilson@yahoo.com, butterfliesentertainment@gmail.com. Leave it in the comment section. I'll find you, find me. But the key with us here is help us help you. And I'm here with you. I'm getting help too, y'all.
Right. And you are more important than the show. We all love Ship Squad. We love being a part of the Ship Squad, but you are more important than the show.
That's
absolutely.
Right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we may pick this up next week. We'll see what the squad says when we go into our post-production meeting. This has been very good, very transparent.
That was fun.
So
we missed you. We couldn't stop talking. You see that?
Right. So let me leave you with this. Someone made a comment about pretty much what we used to say back in the 80s. Right here.
Heifers, hussies, and ho-hos. All right, Sean.
I love it.
Oh, my gosh. I love it.
Lordy.
All
right, gang. So until next time.
That's it. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.